There is one thing that high value men never do, and by the end of this video, you will learn how to identify this behavior that steals away our power so that you can catch it in its tracks and let go of it and begin stepping into your authentic path, purpose, and personal power as a man. Okay, ultimately, the one thing that separates high value men that are moving towards their goals, that are bringing their vision into accomplishment, that are striving towards expressing the highest potential from the low value men that constantly struggle in every area of their life, whether that has to do with their health, their relationships, or their finances. That one thing really comes down to mentality, okay? But the one thing that high value men never do can be demonstrated through a question, okay? So if I ask you the question, why don't you have the results that you want? Okay, maybe in your health, maybe you're overweight, maybe you're underweight, maybe you have some goals for your health. Why don't you have those goals accomplished, right? What's holding you back? Let's say it's with your finances. Why does your bank account not match the level of your ambitions? Why aren't your relationships the way that you want them to be, right? Answer these questions for yourself and understand that if at any point, okay, you come up with an answer that does not involve you, then you are falling victim to the mentality that you are a victim, right? You are falling into the victim mentality if you have an excuse for why you aren't where you want to be. That doesn't include you, okay? So what I'm saying is that if you blame anything outside of yourself, if you complain about anything outside of yourself, if you are in the position where you're making excuses about why you don't have the results that you want, and any one of these three things includes anything other than you, aka if you're not taking responsibility for your situation in life, if you're not taking responsibility for achieving the results that you want in your life, then you are a victim, right? And that means that you are a low value man. Why do I say this? Okay, this is not to shame you or guilt you or anything like that, okay? It's to understand that any time that we blame, complain, or make an excuse, or if we come up with a story that doesn't put us at the forefront, right? If you say that anything other than you is the reason why you don't have the results that you want, then you basically fall into the paradigm of powerlessness, okay? Because you're blaming that outside thing, right? That outside thing is the thing that it is. You probably have very little impact on changing it, and therefore you have a cop out for not achieving the results that you want, okay? Which means that you do not give yourself permission to change the thing that it is that you want to change, okay? This is I was about to say a word, but this is really something that so many of us have been conditioned to think of as victims, right? Oh, I don't have the body that I want because of my genetics, right? I mean, yeah, sure, man. Maybe you don't have the genetics of a bodybuilder, but each and every single one of us has room for improvement, right? Someone might say, oh, I don't have the money that I want because my parents had a dysfunctional relationship with money. Okay, yeah, maybe that is the case, but you are responsible for what it is going to be like moving forward, right? It's like when you take responsibility for everything in your life is when you give yourself the power to change anything in your life. If you blame, complain, or make excuses about anything other than yourself, then go on doing that, okay? Just don't watch this channel, because then there's no point in actually learning about this information, because you will not implement it because you have a story about why you aren't where you want to be, right? It's like there's a quote that if the only thing standing between where you are right now and where you want to be in the future is the BS story you keep telling yourself about why you can't be there now, okay? Now, of course, it takes time. Of course, it takes effort. Of course, it takes hard work. Of course, it takes consistency. All of these things are necessary for bringing your vision into fruition. But if you are not yet taking that first step forward, and if you are blaming, complaining, or making an excuse, then you are falling to the victim mentality. All right. That's one thing that high value men never do. Okay. High value men take responsibility. Now, that does not mean that everything in your life is not for your understanding, okay? I don't know what I just said there, but it means that you are responsible for everything, even the things that you are not responsible for. So we're basically using the word in two different contexts. Basically, responsibility meaning that you did not choose your parents, you might not have chosen the schooling that you went through, you may not have chosen your childhood, you may not have chosen a lot of things, but you are responsible for your response to them, right? You are response able, meaning that you have the ability to respond to all of these things. You might not have had the best upbringing, you might not have had the best schooling, you might have had a traumatic childhood. Yes, okay, we all went through our own stuff in the backdrop, but the low value man blames, complains, makes excuses, uses that as a cop out, and the high value man chooses his most empowered response. Okay, to echo the wisdom of Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning, a book that I have recommended on this channel many times, and that is to understand that your one freedom, your last freedom, right? Anything can be taken away from you. Everything can be taken away from you except the one last freedom, which is to choose your mental attitude in a given situation, to choose your response, right? That space between stimulus and response, that is your freedom. And when you take responsibility for choosing how you show up in this world, despite all of your negative situations in the backdrop, right? That is when you become the conscious creator. That is when you become a high value man. And if you are ready to join us in this community of brotherhood, of coming together and going on this journey of self-illumination, on getting clear on what is truly important to us, on getting clear on why we're here, on what we're here to do, and how to put together an action plan that helps us close the gap between where we are and where we are capable of being, then I want to invite you into the Monk Mode Challenge. And this is all about ruthlessly eliminating distractions so that we can get laser focused on our goals. Okay, open up a new tab in your browser window. Go to monkmodechallenge.com, enroll in the challenge, and begin taking the step for the level of your evolution that you know you are capable of embodying. Okay, I'll leave a link below in the description as well. You can go up, open up a new tab as well. It's all about coming together and giving you the structure, step-by-step approach on getting that ultimate clarity, on giving you that action plan, that personalized action plan that you will create, and also coming together in a community so that we can hold each other to that higher standard, hold each other accountable to actually finishing this challenge, and also me offering you the perspective on where those blind spots may be. Okay, the website is monkmodechallenge.com. Now, whether you decide to join this, whether you don't decide to join this, understand that the power is in your hands to create yourself anew in the next golden moment of now, in the next grandest vision of the greatest version of yourself. Okay, you can create the next greatest version of you in the grandest vision that you ever held about who you really are. Okay, that's a quote from Neil Donald Walsh. But with that, I'll conclude this video. Okay, leave a comment below letting me know your number one takeaway. Subscribe if you have not already. Like the video if you like it. Really helps the channel grow. But with all that being said, I'm going to leave you in the peace and power of the one infinite creator. And I will catch you in the next one. Much love to you. Take care.